President Trump was very clear in his first administration and now in his second that Iran was never going to obtain a nuclear weapon. And if you know President Trump, if you've been listening to him for these past 10 years that he's been in public life, he always wants to resolve things peacefully if he can. That's his first instinct. But we all know that you only get peace through strength. That's the model of Ronald Reagan, and that's certainly the model of President Trump. So in his second week in office, he signed the National Security Memorandum to put maximum pressure back on the Iranian regime, and he put them on notice. So we've been in that max pressure campaign. In fact, we even had new sanctions today against people who were facilitating funds to Hezbollah. Now, of course, President Trump entrusted one of his best friends and my boss, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, to Iran. He's now had 4 rounds of negotiations, and again, working towards hopefully that peaceful deal that the president wants. But both the president and Secretary of State Marco Rubio have been very clear that means Iran is unable to obtain a nuclear weapon. So we'll see if they're serious. They're feeling enormous pressure, both from sanctions and from the military and diplomatic pressure. We certainly want a better life for the Iranian people. That's what President Trump wants. But we're also going to make sure that there is a safe and secure and prosperous Middle East, which you will never get if Iran obtains a nuclear weapon.
But that deal, Morgan, that I'm presuming, and I'm hearing you as well, that deal would necessarily have to include no nuclear weapon, no uranium enrichment.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to get in front of the president or the secretary on this. I think that they've been clear that we're talking about dismantling of Iran's military facilities, of their nuclear weapons. And he certainly, I think, has been very clear with the American people what he's wanting. What he's really trying to message to the Iranian people as their leadership negotiates with Steve Witkoff and with our technical team is you can have a better life. You can have a better future. And hopefully the Iranian people put pressure on the regime. You don't have to have, I mean, the president said it so beautifully. When you look at the capitals in Riyadh, in Abu Dhabi, in Doha, where President Trump has been, they have these new buildings, all of this industry, business, AI, almost over $3 trillion in deals with the United States since President Trump has been on the Strip. And if you go to Tehran, as President Trump said, you see decaying buildings, decaying architecture, you know, people who can't make ends meet, who don't have a quality of life. And so the future for Iran doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be drowned the way it is right now. And so President Trump is extending the hand of diplomacy. Hopefully, the Iranian regime takes him up on this offer because there certainly is the credible threat of force behind the president's statements.
Well, it's an interesting argument. It's an interesting case that's being made by the administration towards various powers in the Middle East. And